ñoo ñëw ak yéen rek skincare plus nara jàkkaarloo ak yéen waxtaan ak yéen tuuti rek si suñu tube suñu baax emuñ rek ci ay diw waaye comme ni ngeen ko xamee rek dañoo yëngu ci ay tube te yënguwuñ nag si just any tube suñ tube bu nekk 5-star jesna la 5-star jesna mooy jesna bi gën a pire moom la ñoo tube palmaan bi gën a fort moom la ñoo liggéeyee ñun rek si tube dara du doy day des not only dañoo tube but bu la neexee ñu tuubal la ba pare nag ñawal la. We're not all about skin. We are skin, care, and the plus does come in so many different ways.
No, ini bara.
Alright, okay. Welcome.
Basically, lot of lala me along is cool, man. That I can really relax.
What the madam?
Yeah,
what the madam?
Yeah.
Let them do somebody.
That's fine.
Grand Villa.
Grand Villa.
That's fine.
Slowly. Yes. No.
Yeah, actually, a lot of people are basically me along can very relaxed. So it's basically that I can use very relaxed.
Nina from Nice, what? Nidia, Nena Grand Villa is the best guest house in the Gambia.
Beji andikam Grand Villa Guest House. Na labungul bebe senyarin adum na bungul bebe nyarandirin coming ibe la fila ila suwe tara nyame. Ntel Grand Villa na kiliano la lafino wale mukawatin telkam. Na ye sabati Grand Villa yela kodo na fa kalamuta.
Oh man, this is like a paradise.
I know.
I so much love this place.
Thank you.
Trust me, I love this place.
You come to someone and you're watching what?
Yeah.
And you want to Gambia. Grand Villa.
I tell you. I love this place. Okay.
Yes.
I love this place, man. Oh yeah.
ni leftan na kuo keso sotola futamma Oljuntum Paradise Estate mbaya komandiro ke 7527218 wala futanna website oto www.grandvillaguesthouse.com. Grand Villa Guest House.
Dreaming of owning a property in a prime location with great proximity and fantastic neighborhood? EJ Investments Sanyang Seaview Estate is the best choice you have been waiting for. Our Sanyang Seaview Estate is approximately 15 minutes drive away from the busy hub of Brusubi roundabout and into the heart of nature, where you can have a peaceful and relaxed lifestyle with your family. You can buy a finished 4-bedroom story with 5-year flexible payment plan or a service plot with 2-year payment plan option. With over 300 homes, you will enjoy big tar roads with covered drainage, modern electrification with solar street lights, gated entrance with security post, and a breath-catching experience of our beautiful sea view and lake view. You can own a home today at our Sanyang Seaview Estate. Call us today on 446-4838 or 325-9220. Visit our website on ejinvestments.net. EJ Investments, first in property.
yaran yilla domoro ka diate
boy jannon 5years restaurant
e say nakko be ni na dimbal nimba domoro kala janno
domoro seneyata adiyata topotoro fanan kendema bije luntan during tamala abeka domoro ki janni adi manda wala de te ka we bijele anim fanan ka fadi jang ikono e fa e ka fa minne ko pastry anim bakery iko fanan be kalele badde lomba conference lomba workshop lomba ye fo fendin lo dunia kono domoro betama nyillom international otoda number 1
amanke ba domo la jandama
e sa domo jang is atariya
wo mu kubandi
sa nakko sa futandin
e oto sa nakko be mu 5years restaurant
ndafa na janna mu yat ni manje dorom bijam
aban
5years restaurant, known for best quality food and customer satisfaction.
na broda min ba Europe Mr. Conte nka bo kol kan sai na so ko na mano banta jabo banta tulo ban sai ka bo kol kan anda ka ba office ko na badama bulo mutarin baka ta sintila ko to ngane ta ya kuriyan ma ko dubanti na ta mano sani tulo ni yau
mun da be tan la broda man balwo service kala
mun service
balwo service
ni da foronte mo kala
mun da a fe la broda tala internet ol aya ba site la woldo balwo.com na wo sajje a apo ñu ba download la telephone ol na be sandiro to ni wal na be sidin ala office ko ndama manjar pour ay ta bank ko kodoki abe sidin office ko na daminto e to message so yo telephone ko no e biti ko be gambia dawda biti ko babelo ko ta tano dawda yeta tempo tawo
wodama yala bari wa service na ta molda han ata nyo le kan fi janna bro dan ta ko ata nyo ayo ko ti ta
balwo service dinkirala jampo o manken na kolaya ko balwo service al demano kaje ko ale domor feŋol sang alla dimbaya molu ana lakkanun tewol wato bela ani wat sudum fanan kono balwo service la dinkiralu ani la do kunyolu ibe banko karo beto kabirin katon fo koyna nalla fa ko ku ko tan soro balwo service la kolto ali commandi telephone line la milbuko 9400213 7694319 wala 3192870 wala hankabi alta internet oto alila kolu jibe www.baluwo.com.
Do you live abroad and want to build your dream home in the Gambia without risking your funds and family ties? Do you want a household name that is trustworthy and efficient? A name that will continue to give you updates on the project from the beginning to the very end with videos and pictures? If your answer is yes, then worry no more. Boss Construction and Asset Management is here for you. If you live outside the Gambia and want to build your dream home, then this is ideal for you. Just reach out to Boss Construction and let's start building the dream home into a reality. With Boss Construction, the difference is clear. We give you value for money. Some of our services includes the following: construction management, building equipment rentals, rent management, purchase and leasing, asset management, and many more. For more information, please contact 282-4945. Better still, send us an email, bossgambia@gmail.com, or you can also visit our website on www.bossgambia.com. Boss Construction, a name you can trust. Boss Construction and Asset Management, keeping families together.
Hello and welcome to the brunch on Kerfatu. I'm Lavin Cham. You may realize that we have a different setting here. We're doing the program here in the balcony, if you like, because we cannot use the studio since we don't have power, thanks to fluctuations by and from NAWEC. Anyway, that's another story. The story this week, of course, we will continue our usual press review, and if you by now must have been watching members of the panel, you would have realized we have a panel discussion on the topics that have been dominating news in the past week. Mustafa, of course, Mustafa Dabo is with me from Kerfatu. Nima Kamara, also a familiar face and voice from the University of the Gambia, is here. And to the right is Ibrahim Soriba from the Barrow for 5 years.
No, Gambia for 5 years.
Gambia for 5 years, not Barrow.
No.
It's Gambia for 5 years. Okay, Gambia for 5 years. Whether it's Barrow or not, it's 5 years. Okay, and you have Esa Dampa, of course. Esa is still the spokesman of the coalition for the West Coast region, and only recently he was very prominent in the news. He was co-chair of the Barrow Meet the People store that critics said was also used to talk about politics. So Esa will be at the receiving end of all those criticisms and concerns you may have. So, gentlemen and lady, welcome to the program. Good. First on the block is the 3 years Jotna. The much talk about 3 years Jotna demonstration took place on Monday. And according to their own estimates, that is, they are able to put tens of thousands of people. Many people said, as far as political demonstrations are concerned, this was the biggest. The messages were read, an ultimatum, if you like, has been presented to President Barrow through spokesman Ibrahim Sankare, and the 3 years Jotna people wanted President Barrow to act on those ultimatums. January 10th or so, he should reply to them as to whether he is willing to go changing the constitution, amending the constitution to allow for presidential elections that must be held before September 2020. Among other things, the 3 years Jotna said they want answers to that before January the 21st, I guess, when they said Barrow's 3-year term should formally come to an end. Before I come to Ibrahim Sori Ba, who has a direct opposite answer to that 3 years Jotna, I'll start with you, Mustafa. You covered the demonstrations.
Yes, I did.
before it happened, there were a lot of anxieties, mixed, feelings as to whether it's not going to bring the whole country down or set it ablaze, etc., etc. But it turned out to be quite peaceful, even though you may not agree with their message, but the conduct of the thing was relatively peaceful.
The problem with that kind of narrative is that I don't think it should even be entertained within the context of a democratic governance. There has never been in the history of this country where protesters become violent. It's always government. I mean, it does not matter whether it's Barrow or Jammeh or before that. Protesters have always been peaceful in this country until the police become violent.
Then that's what
Let's go case by case. Yeah. Faraba, protesters never started burning vehicles until police killed 3 people. The place at Birikama, there was not even anything. It was the police who just found some peaceful guys there and clamped down on them. So the narrative that protest is violence is not true. And I think we've seen it. Protest, when there is effective coordination, when there is effective communication with the police, when there is effective coordination with the government, it is and can be peaceful. And it has always been.
Do you agree with what some people like maybe Mr. Bao would like to say, that some of the conditions they've raised or some of the issues they've raised are unreasonably impossible? They said it's possible for the president to propose an amendment in the constitution which they believe can be supported by the parliamentarians for us to have elections in 2020. And then, of course, the president has to do this before January 21st. Unreasonable, or is just a mere putting pressure on the government, or again, just to illustrate, the point that they are a formidable force and the president should listen to them?
I think he should listen to them. But you see, the problem with the issue of 3 years, I've said it here time and time again, the problem is that the accountability shouldn't just be extended to President Barrow. I mean, I am all in for 3 years, but the accountability should be for all political parties and all political party leaders in this country.
But
Say for instance, they've been talking about the amendment. The coalition envisaged that when there is going to be a change, there is going to be what they were referring to as a transitional act, which would take care of the amendment you are talking about. Because there is a need for an amendment in the Constitution which will say, upon the resignation of the president, maybe the president doesn't even have to resign, he can order a re-election.
Isn't it the absence of lack of, contact or discussion among the coalition that led to the birth of a group like 3 years?
It's not the lack of contact. It's the collapse of the coalition upon the election of President Adama Barrow.
Okay. All right.
Because the coalition was going to exist to monitor the implementation of the coalition MOU. Now that coalition collapsed after Barrow was elected. So there was no mechanism that was supposed to monitor the implementation of the MOU, and that's the mechanism that should have put all these institutions in place and instruments.
Is the solution not just to leave Barrow to go for 5 years, when there will be a solution that everybody will have?
Well, you see, that also has its own shortfalls, because that means the president can do or say anything and get away with it. So you see, that's why I don't even know where to start. Where do I become 3 years or 5 years? I don't know.
3 years journal demonstration took place. You had what came out of there. What's your impression of the gathering itself, its conduct, and their proclamations?
I want to join Mustafa to say that when protests are peaceful, they are peaceful because the people who organize the protests have taken the leadership to ensure that they put forward a message that is being heard. And when it turns violent, it's usually as a result of the police down on that protest. And what we have seen is historical, because we are transitioning from a regime that was so repressive to hopefully a democratic regime. And protest and dissent is an integral part of this process, where people can agree or disagree, where people can feel confident enough to go out to hold their officials accountable, but also to share their views and their messages with them, because there's not much platform that's created for the voters to do that, apart from elections. Apart from elections, parliamentary debates or protests are one of the ways through which people democratically express their views. So this is historic in the sense that many people may not agree with the 3 years judgment view, but at least we can accept or we can agree with their right to go out to demonstrate, and the government to take responsibility to understand that this is a part of it. This is a democratic process that must be enhanced, that must be protected. It's also commendable. I've seen people praising the government. I don't think it's so much about praising the government. It's just an appreciation of how far our democratic processes have come.
Yeah, but if the government had refused them permit, they will come under criticism for...
Exactly, and we have said on this platform that it's going to be a good thing even for the government to grant these people permit, because you cannot stop people from exercising their rights, and you cannot stop them from sharing their views and their discontent with the government. And if you're going to allow them this space, what that does is that you recognize their leadership, but also you confer responsibilities on their leadership that if anything goes wrong, they will be held responsible.
That happened. Let me come. How did the leadership of the 3 years Jatna or 3 years Jatna came out, credibility-wise, from this thing? I mean, people were portraying them as people who were trying to brew trouble, etc., etc. But they came out as heroes, at least to the people who shared their ideas, and even to the common man who believed perhaps these people were some, slogan-chanting cranks who doesn't even know what to say. But they turned out to gain a lot of credibility from them, even heroism.
Exactly, and the reason why it was done that way is because they have opened the space for dialogue. We have witnessed in many occasions where they've been invited by the security officials to discuss with them what their moves are going to be and how they're going to hold responsibility upon themselves to contain whatever the outcome of the protest would be, but also to ensure that none of the things that goes outside of the democratic process would happen. So they have opened themselves up for dialogue, but also they have taken the responsibility to be the lead, to rally their supporters around their main agenda, which is to hold the government accountable, and they have succeeded in that.
Yes, I remember one of our forums here, you said at the time, in fact, the 3 years just were faceless people. Nobody recognized them, nobody knows who they are and how to contact with them. Surely you know one or two now.
Yeah, really, individually, I knew them even then, but as an organized entity,
you didn't know.
That's why I just refer them to faceless people. You know, you want to represent a group or you want to agitate something, you can confer a recognition by doing certain things. But nonetheless, it is very important now, everybody knows
who they are.
And as Nima said, one part of her assassins I concord with, and also that of Mustafa. You know, it is always important for all the citizens to confine itself to under the dictate of the law, or to the dictate of the law. You know, Constitution is the supreme law. You know, you can never suppress or depress the constitutional dictates. First and foremost, I wanted to thank, as Nima said, there's nothing like to give credibility to the government or the president or any other. But me, I have a different view. I wanted to thank the government under the leadership of His Excellency President Adama Barrow for exercising and giving people to exercise their franchise in a democratic space. Despite that, he knows it. Those people coming out, they might utter something that may not go down well to his wishes and aspirations.
Yes.
And it was hard because the spokesperson said they were insulting him and the president's mother. The spokesperson said that in one of the...
That's what he said.
Yes. Either true or not, I am not, but I know that Sankara said that in one of his interviews. And even not that, putting somebody to account, or accounting always difficult. People, you know, even in next world, why many people did not want to go there, whenever there's an account, you should be account for all your deeds. It's never go down easily when it comes to the leadership. But to be bold enough to allow your critics to come out in their numbers, in a conducive environment, to allow international press, everybody to come and just listen or witness what has happened, is a very bold step. Also, to extend the same gratitude to the organizing the membership of 3 years, the leadership, you know, they made a big surprise to the many of the Gambians, how they perceive them. You know, they think that, well, we are very responsible and we also wanted to abide the law. And my little advice is everybody to abide the law. So when we do like that, then we all safe.
Let's come to the nitty-gritty.
I just want to make a clarification, if you would allow me, to say that the president allowed people, or he has given them. I mean, these two words are not acceptable in this context. It's not up to the president to allow or to give. That's already there. It's up to him to recognize that people have this right and they can exercise those rights. And if he goes against it, then it will become undemocratic.
Yes, that one also. Let's come to the nitty-gritty. We've been voting in this country for so long. Since, I don't know.
Well, we said
it has been difficult for us to attain what we attain now.
We don't compare
the two.
Jambo, that's the problem.
Thank you.
That's what he's telling you. He don't compare.
I understand.
For Jambo, it was non-existent. That one we cannot talk about. But let's come to the nitty-gritties. You still disagree that they have a valid point in protesting, you know, so that the president realized that what he had said and what he's intending to do now are different.
Really, I have to respect their move. I have to respect their.
Do they have a valid point?
I have to. It's a question mark,
because you know.
But from my own I'm coming to that.
All the international coverage we saw how they began the programs. Their programs is they bring in Barrow saying, "I will stay for 3 years," and then they bring his other recent audios where he's changing.
Okay.
The 3 years Jordan said they want to discredit him, to show him to the people that he's a liar, stuff like that. But that said, do you still think they have a valid point in asking for him to step down and, you know, for him to amend the constitution and get elections in September 2020?
Where the opinions differ. Me, and in that context, I don't think that they have anything that's valid in my own view. Though either is valid or invalid, we have to respect their move, their stand.
Okay.
They are citizens of this country and they have all what it takes to demonstrate whatever they think is not going down well with their wishes. You know what? Maybe sometimes some things that compare you out is somebody's honey and sugar.
Okay.
That's me also open to, but that nonetheless shouldn't you know restrict you from going out to express your view.
Okay.
Expressing the view is part of democracy. Me, why I say I'm not seeing any much value in there is maybe petition or something like. First of all, I have a question here. Do they confirm, or they really understand that, or they acknowledge that still coalition executive have a say over the president, or the president is still a coalition president or an executive president?
Oh, you mean they
have
to know that?
Yeah. So if I mean that they know,
why does that matter?
Well, it matters. Because if they recognize that, yes, this man is still a coalition president, then they have to give petition to the coalition executive.
Oh, you mean the petition?
Yes, to go to coalition executive. To warn them, look, this is your man, talk to him to abide your rules. This is what you campaign, and you send your messages across the length and breadth of this country under this platform. Now he's violating, he's defying the oath.
Yes.
You have to take charge and take your responsibility as coalition. Now it's valid. Good. And it didn't happen that way. But if they think that Barrow is an executive president, coalition have no say over him, now constitutionality is supreme than any other MOU, any other agreement. Because executive president is only acting in the dictate of the constitution, not any other agreement. So that's the conflicting issue that I have here.
All right. In other words, what about if they said I mean, the coalition themselves are not, they're not united on, you know, what should be his term. So who do you give it to? You give it to Lawyer Dabo, who will say, oh, I agree with you because my party said 3 years. Then you give it to, how do you call it, Doe. I mean, he said, well, I mean, he can do what he like, but we want him to really respect his MOU. So there's nobody to give it to because they will differ on one thing. So the only person who is there and remains the president and matters is the president, so they direct to him.
Yeah, really.
Coalition can sound and sound.
Point of correction here. Yeah. Coalition still have a personal executive. You know what happened? A few months ago, there was a meeting, coalition convened a meeting. You know, it was a 8 party, 7 party with one independent, make it 8.
3 independent.
Major signatories.
So there was a coalition meeting you talk about.
Is it that you are referring to?
Are you saying not?
There's an executive here and also a co-opted members. I think you are referring to Magasi.
Well, he's supposed to be spokesman. He knows them very well. So.
Yes, I just want to simplify everything. There's a co-opted independence member, like a concerned independence.
Okay.
That was Buba Aisane and Honorable Magasi. They were concerned independent. But initially they were not in the makeup. That's the initial.
What about Honorable Jallo, the minority leader? Was he?
No. Minority leader was NRP.
I mean, the narrative you're pushing for, it's inaccurate.
Can I comment? Because he asked something that we have to give this petition to even the rank of the coalition.
Yes.
I think that's your question.
Yes, because
that's what I was explaining. Coalition, they had a meeting, and out of that 8, 3 they were not part of the meeting. They just get out of the meeting. Okay. And the 5, which constitute the quorum, they extended the mandate. Yes. Still, they have a functional executive. If you wanted to, there's a chairman, there are people who are responsible of their various organs. So if you wanted to give petition, I think you directed it to the chairperson of the coalition.
But they're asking for the resignation of the president. Those people are not the president. So they wouldn't be satisfied.
No, that's what I'm saying. If they concur that coalition still is binding, because the MOU is the coalition manifesto.
Yeah, and
they are advocating for the coalition manifesto to be honored by the president.
Now let's go to Nima will come back. Let's go direct.
It has a bearing on what he's saying, though, if you'll allow me.
Okay, that's what you say.
Yeah. So what I wanted to say is that there cannot be a middleman between the people who voted into office a president with the president. The coalition cannot be a middleman between the President Jammeh and any voter in this country. Even if that's President Barrow. Not President Jammeh.
Before they said you cross blasphemy.
Yeah.
They're looking at you.
So what you're suggesting, what happened is a coalition has presented a candidate to the people. The people did not vote for the coalition. They voted for a candidate. And the candidate was President Adama Barrow. So if President Adama Barrow should now make a promise to the people and he's voted on that platform and he reneged on it, it is not between the coalition and the people. It's between President Barrow and the people. So when you are petitioning, you don't petition the coalition because the coalition no longer...
Even if you are saying that it's the coalition agreement, they disagree with.
But this goes beyond just an agreement. Because it was used as a platform to canvass for votes from the people. A majority of these people who are coming out are saying, we voted for you based on the promise you made to us, right? As a candidate. And now that you've become president, if you're going to renege on that promise, we're going to accept it. And so we are not directing that petition to the coalition, we're directing it to the president who made a promise and renege on a promise.
Okay, I just have to elaborate on what Nima said, or to have my own observation there. I was just asking question, how they perceive the president. Either it's a coalition president or executive president. If they agree that he's an executive president, they should always tell this.
What is coalition president and executive
president? Coalition president is MOU. He should abide by the MOU.
There are contradictions.
He should abide by the MOU. He shouldn't hire and fire people like that. As constitutional dictate. He should be ruling based on MOU. MOU should be enacted and be embedded in our constitution so that it can be used as a government instrument. That was the agreement. That's why I have to ask this question. If they know that yes, coalition still have a say over your man, then you have to direct your petition to him because the petition that they use more or less is about coalition MOU.
So may I ask you this?
More or less is coalition manifesto, coalition MOU.
May I ask you
it has nothing to do with the Gambians.
So
because the Gambians, they have their constitution, which is 1997 constitution.
But the same coalition supporters.
That's what I'm saying. The coalition is still binding, yes. Let them direct their petition to the coalition executive.
Can I ask you this question? Can I just ask you this question?
Allow him to ask.
Forget about the coalition, forget about the agreement. Didn't Barrow campaign promising the voters that he's going to serve for just 3 years, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Is he not now saying, I'm going to serve for 5 years and for 3 years?
Yes.
Doesn't the people have the right now to tell the president, you made a promise and you have to fulfill that promise?
That's their right.
Why should they channel that through anybody else?
That's what I'm saying. There's a two things that we're mixing up here. Let me ask me either the petition is really, if I see any meaningful of giving this petition to the president or the outcome might be. I say, okay, I have a question here. I'm asking them, either they know that the coalition still exists, still have say over their man. Because we're not campaigning on the coalition platform. Not NRP, not UDP, not APRC. on the coalition platform.
It's still Barrow who said this.
It's still Barrow who said
it's still Barrow who's saying another thing.
Now, who said another thing? Now we have to just look at
that's where the issue is. The international community or any credible or independent observer is not talking about coalition. The coalition agreement might have brought his presidency, but now it's his presidency that matters, and what he said or did there, that's what matters.
Very well.
If he said I will go for 3 years, the international community did not care whether it was coalition who was saying that. It's Barrow who said it. If Barrow said I'm going for 5, they don't care about it. Whether it's coalition is going. They will say this same man is saying this and that. That's where the problem is now. That point
also there's a correction to that.
Yeah, that's
okay. There's a correction. If you allow me.
How would you correct?
Correction to the like what Mustafa has rightly said.
How would you correct?
Correction to guide the president. The whole bill.
Listen.
There's a stand. If they could not put their house in order, now we cannot just take the whole country.
Currently,
we should be governed.
We
should be governed, and the only instrument that we have to govern the country is the constitution.
Currently, President Alpha Conde of Guinea is trying to change the constitution and go for a third time. He believes he has support and Guineans who support that idea. But people are not considering the voice of those Guineans. They are putting him to account, said, your constitution said, and you want another term. So that's the problem. So he takes the responsibility.
He will have the consequences.
I'm trying to say there is no way you can absolve Barrow from being blamed of saying one thing today and the next. There's no way you can. You can bring all the arguments, but they will still say.
I suggest Mr. Sorry.
Let's go to Mr. Sorry. Mr. Sorry, before we come to all those things, you are a member of the Gambia for 5 years.
Founder.
No longer
founder for that matter.
All right?
Founder for that matter.
Founder?
Yeah.
We heard from the grapevines that you are about to organize a protest that your critics, even before you start, say is just out of frustration perhaps. You come up with a response. You want to come up with a response to show Gambian people, to put on some show that, okay, it's not only 3 years, who have the majority of voices, but there are people in Gambia who actually are not in agreement with 3 years. Let me ask you, why do you think such a rival or counter demonstration is needed at this time? Many people said you just misleading perhaps or blinding the president further to get him believe that there are more people in agreement with him than those who are not. Why?
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that correction. I thank everybody. Well, let me go straight to the correction, even though I have some observations on matters arising from the discussions that we had. You have faults, you have contradictions in what some of you just said. I want to partake in that. Well, with regards to why are we coming out, whether we are not trying to misinform or mislead Gambian people, whether we are not countering the activities of 3 years Jotna. Well, that's a big no. The Gambia for 5 years and peace building got registered, came to being around May and was registered May 2019 and was registered in June 2019, about 6 months ago.
And that was after the 3 years just now have already been formed or whatever.
Exactly.
So from the beginning you have just been building on a rival.
No, let me go to the correction straight.
Yes, I'm coming.
Because if you want to counter us, you are putting 1,001 corrections.
I'm expanding the questions. So your very existence just 6 months ago.
Right. I am giving you the background with a view to giving you the source and what necessitated the rationale behind the inception of Gambia for 5 years and peace building, which will be quite relevant. When we had elections in 2016, you had a coalition that was comprised of 8 parties, 7 paid parties and an independent, and they campaigned on an MOU agreement that they are going to serve for a term of 3 years, for a term of 3 years, and after which the president will organize elections. You had 8 parties, 8 political parties.
Coalition,
that came as a coalition. Even though let me hasten to say that the Gambian people, among which you and I are part of, did not see the signed document.
But we had their statement.
We had the statement. No, in law, I don't want to go. In law, It is the appending of a signature to an agreement that ratifies it, that makes it relevant, that makes it an agreement. So that in that point of view, we are talking about a verbal agreement.
So without the signature,
no, I say what cannot be.
Okay, without the signature, I can say whatever I like.
Because you can come and read, like she said, you can't have a salad. So let's argue on that. Fine. When they said that 2 years down the line, 2 years plus
1.5 years.
1.5, we had the president for the first time for me sitting in a political rally in Birmingham saying he is going to serve for a term of 5 years based on the constitutional mandate. Of course, I believe this followed some months ago the campaign of the 3 years judgment that came into being, I think, shortly before that. This was, I think, during the first or second anniversary of the independence. So when you had the
so let's move on. The president said for the first time.
You had 3 years judgment coming, saying they are going to hold the president accountable for the 3 years. Of course, you had that movement coming. So then you had dissenting voices. You had mixed feeling. The Gambian people became divided over this. I am still justifying the reason why the Gambia for 5 years existed and why we are coming out. When the Gambian people became divided, later on we saw 6 out of the 8 parties coming together, revoking that very agreement, the convention, per se, and they said, we instead are saying the president should go for 5 years. Headed, of course, by Fatoumata Jallow Tambajang, the inter-party chairperson. A key player, a key stakeholder of the coalition. The 6 parties at the time went to the president and told him instead you are going for 5 years.
Okay.
We witnessed that here. Yeah. With the absence of the UDP and the coalition.
They told the president he can go for 5 years.
Of course.
What did they tell the Gambian people whom they told that he was going for 3 years?
No, I'm talking about.
They did not talk about.
This is a pointer to contradictions.
Okay, let's go.
That the registered contradictions.
Let's go. No, let's go ahead. No,
I am putting across the contradictions. The contradiction and the
what gave back to this? Let's go.
What gave back? That is why when we had that, of course you had a confrontational situation that became very bleak. You have opposing parties. Then you had 3 years job now.
Okay.
So we all later when we came together, we said, look, let's put up an organization that is going to be independent, that is going to because the solution then for us, the option is
the most sensible thing is just to go by the constitution.
That is what we realized because we saw that the president said he's going for 5 years.
So Comrade
Ostom, the 3 years journal also said that, and we realized we saw a political party behind them.
Okay.
That we justify. We even called a press conference about a month ago, and we gave evidence.
Yeah, you said the UDP is behind it.
Of course, we said it. That dominated front line.
There were UDP members. There were UDP people.
Of course, you had UDP executives such as Amadou Sane and Amadou Kora coming, saying the president.
But that's not your business. Your business Your business is you want to have a convergence, and you said the most sensible thing is let's have 5 years as mandated by the constitution.
Because you already have a conflict.
Yes, because there is a conflict.
There is a conflict.
Whether it's UDP or
it doesn't matter. The very coalition
have conflict.
Are divided.
Yes.
You have 2 parties out of the coalition, and in fact they abrogated, they abandoned the very responsibility that they should have taken up. In fact, that gave rise. That is even a byproduct. That became the byproduct.
So because of
that parties that were not part of the
because of the background, you came up with this sensible idea
for us to sensitize the Gambian
that the best thing
for them to let's go for 2021. At some time you will be able to go out and vote for a candidate.
You came with this Gambia for 5 years.
Yes.
Which you said is independent. Which you said is independent.
Of course. That is what we did. We prevailed on the president.
So that's the lofty idea that brought about the Gambia for 5 years.
Very.
All right. Now, why do you now want to organize a protest? Now, you mentioned, of course, that the 3 years Jotna, the UDP made an announcement that's aligned with them.
Yeah, that's
not so.
And we saw some executives, not only aligned, we saw executive members of the UDP aligning themselves to
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly.
So, members of President Barrow's camp, his would-be political party, are, of course, aligned with the idea to go for 5 years.
Sure. They are in government.
You claim you are an independent organization, Gambia for 5 years. So we shouldn't expect you to have alliance with members of Barrow's party.
Do you have any
just
evidence?
as
Of course, and we have, you don't have.
But wouldn't you be free to do that? Because you said the same.
No, we are not. We are coming to that. We have principles. We have governing principles of Gambia for 5 years. We have a concept paper that has been distributed.
But wouldn't it be your right to embrace people from Barrow's party?
We are targeting structures, social structures that are existent, such as the wards, the districts, and the regions. But the target is not. The entry point is never political parties for us.
Exactly. That's what the 3 years claim.
Yeah.
They said they are not political.
So
we saw them aligned with UDP's ideas, and we saw UDP people taking part. Can't we expect that people who stay at the Barrow for 5 years are the people who are coming to your demonstration?
Well, you are free to feel so. But I am distancing I am arguing. I am saying I'm telling you that is not the case with Gambia for 5 years. We have our entry point.
Okay. All right, so
we have been across the country, and we have never used the Barrow Fans Club or the Barrow Youth as an entry point to access the people. But we use the Alcalolu, you use the chiefs, these are opinion leaders.
Yeah, but Alcalolos have recently been identified with Barrow.
Probably in their own the office that is a political office.
Right, so now
that is supposed to be a political.
So
how are you funded?
So now let's come to the point. When is your demonstration?
Well, it's subject to review. We are working. We are working out the modalities and
you said this is completely independent.
Yeah.
You have not been backed from behind by people supporting Barrow for 5 years.
Not at all. Even they have the right to be members as Gambians,
exactly.
as members of the community.
That's what I'm saying.
But if you say Barrow fans or whatever,
the 3 years Jordan, I did not agree with them when they said there is no party there, because I saw their activities as a political activity, and you cannot say a political activity will happen. Politicians or interested parties in politics are not joining.
But you have target
I don't believe them.
But you have target groups.
I don't believe those. When they said
our target groups has never been the Barrow camp.
When they said that, I disagreed. I said this has to be political. There has to be politicians or interested political entities in this. Yeah. I'm now trying to tell you that it's impossible to separate them from UDP, because UDP had 3 years as their agenda for on this thing. So the same way, is it not fair or correct to say that it's the people who believe in Barrow staying for 5 years, such as the party that is members of the party is about to form, are the people behind you? Is that correct?
It is never correct.
You're not working with them?
No, at all.
Okay. So we are going to see a completely independent group of people who doesn't belong to any political party publicly.
At all.
Who will come into that place?
There can't be any evidence, material evidence.
No material evidence
to ascertain this. No, you don't.
So if I see Esa Damfa, whom I know is already in Barrow, then it
is we have other political members of other active political members of other political parties.
Okay. So,
during our press conferences, we have been having in attendance the members of the PPP.
Okay.
We extend invitations.
If I understand you,
but they are Gambian. They are coming from these wards, these districts, and these regions that we have targeted.
So if I understand you,
the structure,
you are targeting structure. Yeah, the 3 years just are purely political UDP affair. Yours will be.
They made it clear.
No, wait, that's it. Yours will be completely independent, Gambian, genuine Gambians who are interested in the constitutional mandate.
And the peace of
they will come.
That is already at stake.
And you haven't chosen a date yet. We had on the grapevines, it's going to be on the 27th, January 4th now. When is it?
Well, actually, we have those dates that slated for. But we are still, those days, they remain tentative. They are still subject to confirmation.
Again, President Barrow.
By Monday, we will come up with
again, you told President Barrow his supporters they have no hand in this. You told him, as you did before when you formed the coalition.
All the time.
And he said he's not going to be part of it.
No, actually, we have nothing to do with President Barrow. We are...
His supporters are not there.
We don't necessarily have to tell President Barrow not to...
Esa Dampa is not behind it.
Esa Dampa has the right to become a member from
this board. I'm not behind screwing him now, like the UD people did with the 3 years.
It is up to him. He comes from a ward, he comes from a district.
You said that.
You give me a floor, I will
yes, I've given you.
You know, I am a Gambian. I am a concerned citizen who believe in constitutional dictate.
Yes.
So what I wanted to clarify here, leadership of the group or leadership of this organization, I'm not part of the leadership.
Okay.
But even they call this 5 years protest march or manifestation or solidarity to defend the constitution at 2 a.m. at night. I will be there.
Because you said the same.
2 a.m.
Yes.
Remember?
Yes.
I will be there because I believe in the dictatorship.
You are masquerading. You will be there masquerading as an interest Gambian for the constitution.
I'm appealing if they can incorporate me in their management. I will be there. I'm very happy to take part.
Because you said
it's a worthy cause. It's a noble cause. To align yourself with the constitution of the republic.
Let's go back to. Let's back to sorry.
Yeah.
People said, well, this is just another show. You know, people who will go to the president and say, well, you know what, you don't need to worry, we are here behind you, we are behind you, we're going to put up a bigger stage, you know, so that people or you can be convinced that we are more than them.
We are not in competition with 3 years Jotna. We are not trying to portray that any image that would obviously show numbers. We are not in competition. Our objective from day one has been to make sure that we maintain and nurture the very peace this country has ever known. And we saw the Gambian state threatened by the agenda, the regime change agenda of 3 years Jotna and their allies. And that is eminent.
So
come the 20th, if the president did not step down, they said they are coming out in numbers and they are not going home until the president steps down. That is treasonous.
You want to send them a message
that is treasonous.
You want to send them a message that is unnecessary.
No, we want to show them. We are confident that more than 60 to 70% of the Gambian people are in support of the 5 years. Are in support of a non-violent atmosphere in this country. We are going to bring over 300,000 to 400,000 Gambians, peace-loving Gambians, on bipartisan basis.
Oh, you are now confident to say a number, 300,000.
No, I am telling you that's the projection.
How many people went to the 3 years?
No, I don't know.
You cannot estimate.
No, I cannot. I don't know. I have not been there, and the videos I watched.
Was it a big crowd? Was it a big crowd?
Well, it depends on.
Depends
on what you take to be a big crowd.
Certainly.
Out of the Gambian population, out of over 1 million Gambians, out of over.
But you cannot get all Gambians gathered in one place.
Eligible voters. No, listen.
900,000 eligible voters.
900,000 eligible voters.
Yeah.
If you the number is just a drop in the ocean for me.
Yeah, but you cannot get everybody there.
No, but we are going to triple, we are going to bring a number that will be 10 times or more than that number. Come the very day, come the D-Day, that we will be coming out.
Can I make some corrections?
And a small independent...
There are so many to make.
A small independent, non-funded, political like Gambia 5, bring 300,000.
It depends on your information. About our source of funding. If you come to that, if you had asked me about our source of funding, I would have given you information that would correlate.
We are coming there. Okay.
So I was going to state a few things about the coalition MOU. I think we were all here. We covered it. In fact, the last day it was actually finished, I was at YMCA. They were there until 12 a.m. The fact is that the coalition MOU, the dispatch, when the coalition MOU was initially done, forget about the MOU, but the dispatch that was sent to the media houses were signed by all political parties.
Why was it not published?
No, it was published.
I did not see
every media organization. No, I'm not talking about the coalition MOU being signed.
I am talking about.
I am telling you that when the coalition MOU was done at 12 at that time at YMCA, the dispatch that was sent to all the media houses to inform them about the coalition MOU, that dispatch was signed by all
the MOU proper, not the dispatch.
I'm coming to that. Yeah. And contract does not need to be signed. Even verbal contracts are binding on parties. The reality is that the coalition, I have a problem with the collapse of the coalition and how this whole thing came about. I do. I have a problem with, because all parties in a way contribute to this situation, and all political players contribute to this situation. But President Barrow equally holds a vital part of this particular problem. And he is at fault as any other individual, as any other coalition member. And he, and holding him to account on the 3 years is not treason, is what he wants, is what he asked them to do 3 years ago. That's not treason. Treason is when you wake up and violently take over government. When you wake up and peacefully ask your president to respect his words, that's being good citizen. That's being good. That's being good citizen.
The definition of treason is selective.
Well, no, but treason is when you. No, I just want to correct some few things.
I disagree.
And also, and also the coalition MOU, the revival talks. The revival talks was done by people who had already had a preconceived view that Barrow should stay for 5 years. And that is why people like PDYs in fact wrote a letter to Madam Tambajan to say this is unnecessary. Yes, because even when Madam Tambajan was in Dakar, remember Macky Sall's inauguration, West Africa Democracy Radio interviewed her. She said that it would be unrealistic, quote unquote, to ask Barrow to leave before 5 years. So she had already made her view known before she organized that coalition. So that is why some people who actually were not in agreement with that view thought this is a charade. We shouldn't be part of it.
What do you think about the Gambia for 5 years? The reasons you've given for them to take to the streets and how they come about.
Yeah, I will come to that. Right. But before I do, few things we need to make clear. When we go back and forth about the coalition, what they signed, what they agreed on, what they do not agree on, at this material point in time, that has no bearing. It has no relevance to the discussion at hand. The coalition was a private entity. It was an association of political parties who among themselves have decided to do something. At that point in time, before they brought their agreement or their lack of agreement to the people, it was a private entity. When they brought that agreement to us and we vote their candidate into office, whatever has been done at that point is bigger than the coalition. The coalition, except for the president who served the Gambian people, the coalition has no legitimacy to make any decision on behalf of the Gambian people. So you saying that the coalition went back to make a decision to extend the Barrow's mandate, that is their private affair. It has no bearing on the Gambian people's decision to hold a president accountable for the promise that he had made them that allowed them to vote for him into office. And this is why I'm going to insist always that the Gambian people do not need a middleman, such as the coalition, to talk directly to their president and to hold him to account. It's the same way as saying, for example, somebody, UDP presented a candidate to us, they made a promise, we vote him to office, and he reneged on his promise, now we have to go and speak to UDP. No, we don't speak to UDP. We speak to the president. We talk to the president. To come back to your point, I think every citizen in this country have a right to align themselves with whatever view and to make that known. I have nothing against citizens, regardless of their party affiliation, because we can say we don't have an alignment to a political party, but I think that statement is overstretched. Every individual here, even the independent, they have an alignment. You are either an independent that aligns with UDP or independent that aligns with PDOIS or with President Barrow. Everyone has an alignment. You are never going to have a truly independent association of Gambian citizens who have no political alignment. To say that UDP is the one behind 3 years governor, it's just to say that because they have a political alignment, therefore their views are not legitimate. And I think that's false, right? You can have your alignment, as I'm sure you have, because what you're doing is to support President Barrow's intentions to extend his mandate beyond 3 years, and you have the alternative group of people who want the opposite to happen.
And he wants to show that there are 300,000 people with that same view whenever he comes in the street. Exactly. Do you agree with the fact?
I have questions. Yeah, I have questions.
Of course.
My question is, The 3 years Jotna has a constitutional backing. Your support for the constitution is also valid, is legitimate. But the question I have for you is that, do you think it is right, whether it is President Barrow or it's anybody else, right, to campaign on a platform just to gain people's confidence and their vote, and then when he is instituted into office, he does the opposite, as we have had President Barrow saying at multiple occasions that when you are campaigning, you can make any promise.
Okay, can I just comment?
Yes.
Because
you have the floor.
You have two.
You have the floor now.
But let me also pose you a question.
let
me observe you when you said that the coalition establishment do not have bearing on the presidency.
That's wrong. You said.
That's very wrong.
Okay. I didn't say on the presidency.
Not that on what the president does, and you don't need a middleman. Exactly. Right. That is unfounded, based on the fact that you cannot even hold the president alone. You are talking about a convention here. Maybe you need to look at the legal implications of the convention that has been brought to bear on the Gambian people by the coalition.
Yeah, but
out of which, please.
I need to understand him.
No.
To understand how. What I'm saying is,
Right.
he's saying that whatever process brought the president to power, whatever process, all right, does not matter now when it comes to the people.
I am saying
when it comes to the people.
No,
and the
I am
president.
saying if I am entitled to my opinion.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
I mean, I'm not arguing. I am giving my independent opinion and the opinion of the Gambian people, the majority of the Gambian people, that the coalition is very relevant and remain key. Because during the campaign, the president made it clear, if you are taking the president account.
The coalition doesn't even exist at this
you have 5 parties that are still aligned to the president based on the coalition agreement. And you still have some coalition party heads who are in government. Say there is a conflict a seriously registered conflict in the coalition. In fact, the reason behind that is because the major coalition party has been removed from government. That was such time that they started talking. They were in government for 2 years. And that particular party leader came out and said, anybody who threatens who say that the president has to resign at the end of 3 years would be sued to God. We had that statement, and that is a political party leader saying who has influence. Political leaders have influence over their parties and people. So that is, for me, that is unacceptable. I think they have a key role to play. And the other thing you are talking about, you said it is their constitution. I disagree with you to say that the 3 years Jordan has a constitutional right, 100% constitutional right. They have a constitutional right of freedom of assembly, like they did, like the protest. They went through, they exhausted the rule of law. They applied for a permit. They staged a peaceful protest. They made their grievances known. They submitted a petition. That's constitutional. But it is not constitutional for them to come out and forcefully remove the president, stay in the streets and ask the president to step down when the constitution allows the president. He has the prerogative to stay for 5 years. That has been, he was vindicated by Doe as a party when a key stakeholder such as the renowned Halifa Sallah said the president has a choice of going for 5 years or resigning. So that can never be a constitutional right of 3 years to forcefully remove the president from office.
Though people might be listening, that statement by Halifa does not give a license to Barrow to continue. He just said...
No, that is a rejoinder.
No, listen,
I am saying it was a rejoinder. I am saying it added value to the cause that Barrow is championing.
Now, even Halifa will not agree to this. That trying to conceptualize his statement that Barrow is the one with the choice. If Halifa had said many occasions that he would have loved Mr. Barrow to respect the agreement. So if you are talking about Halifa, the choice of Halifa was for him to respect.
But he also said in the same vein, he also had the right to either stay or what did he say yesterday?
What we want to clarify is the choice of Halifa. If you had listened to him.
No, I'm saying he vindicated Barrow.
He said he would have loved. What would have been much more ideal?
A lot of things have been
said. No, listen. Was if Mr. Barrow respect his agreement.
That is not an issue, Mr. Chairman.
But
I am only quoting.
However, said, no, I want to be clear.
I don't want us to make that an issue.
No, I want to be clear so that it is said on our
It's clear. I am saying he said this one.
Okay.
You also had another political leader who said 2-3 things.
That's what I said. We made that clear.
I gave you an example of a political party leader who said Barrow he should on anybody who dare say and came and headed a party.
Lawyer Dabo
his
said.
political party.
Lawyer
He said in a press conference and said Barrow has to step down.
Lawyer Dabo
Fine.
said. Lawyer Dabo said.
So that is not relevant. I am trying to make a point.
So I'm saying
what
what people are saying.
Yes.
All these things give license to Mr. Barrow, who matters. All right, to pick what suits him.
Well, I think for me, my opinion as a Gambian, besides Gambia for 5 years, I feel that because there is a conflict to which all of them, including Barrow, I made this argument in various fora. Across, I made this argument.
Can I ask a question, Cham?
The president has a responsibility here.
Yeah.
But in the event,
that's a disagreement.
He chooses to go for the 5 years.
Yes.
What is the solution? This is the concern of Gambia for 5 years and peace building.
Exactly.
Can I ask
like the hidden agenda, like the agenda of coming out to the streets, taking to the streets to forcefully remove the president, is going to turn out violent.
What is the definition of forceful? What is the definition of
forceful here could be coming out because you will not be giving license or permit by the police to stay out in the streets beyond a given period of time.
Why shouldn't you?
Why shouldn't you?
Yeah.
Why would they?
Okay, so you are saying
where in the constitution can you quote me and say the constitution allows for any group of people to take to the streets, occupy the streets for a number of days, on specified days, until such time that X, Y, Z or
the constitution doesn't.
So now let's have this.
It doesn't have to.
Let's have this.
Then let's limit ourselves to the proclamations of the constitution.
Mr. Ba, what do you think of?
Certainly not.
What do you think of other avenues?
Such as,
instead of you organizing a counter demonstration to show that there's another side of this story, and polarizing the situation more,
right?
Is there, because some people have banded this idea, isn't it possible or is it not wise for the president to now open dialogue with these 3 years judgment, since they are the problems, they are the one who have this impossible, unreasonable position, to open dialogue with them and say, okay, now, since I have now heard from you, this and this and this thing are your conditions, and this and these things are my ideas, so that they can come to a term, so there won't be a demonstration like yours, or they are planned one in 2021. Why is it difficult for President Barrow to open dialogue with this people and sit with them and to come to terms?
Fine. This is the best question that will ever raise in this.
I hope you come with the best answer.
Certainly I will.
So what do you
think? This is very pertinent.
Exactly.
Gambia for 5 years and peace building. It is in our concept paper. It is a principle that the president negotiates.
Okay.
We made delegation. We made representation to the president through his Minister of Interior. Shortly after our inception.
Okay.
We had about a month after that proclamation he made in Belkama.
Okay.
We told the minister that the president should engage the Gambian people. In fact, he should go on a nationwide tour, including the coalition parties. That he should negotiate with 3 years judgment.
Okay.
For the sake of peace.
Yes. Which they well,
fine.
What they
Fine. We did not meet the president up to now.
Okay.
Because we feel we are working for the president. We are not here for the president's agenda, but for the Gambian people. We made this clear to the minister. And we told him that in no unclear terms will we, with the Gambian people, accept hate speech, such as the one he said. We said we were very disappointed in the fact that he said they are going to apply force.
Yeah. That's
so this past Gambians.
That's the former interior in Zimbabwe.
Yeah, this is an example.
You condemned him.
We condemned it.
Okay.
We had an audience with him in his office, in Kotu. So afterwards, the president, you saw it on social media, the State House said their doors are open for negotiations, for dialogue with,
but immediately after.
Mr. Chairman, listen please, let me just learn. The president hid because there was a time, it was in the news, it was on social media, that the president, the State House has opened its doors for negotiations with 3 years Jotna or anybody aligned with 3 years Jotna. We also had the 3 years Jotna coming with a statement saying
they're not talking with him.
They are not taking it. Yes. And for us, very recently we attended a peace conference being organized by Africa Care under the auspicious leadership of Marisok, where we even signed a peace deal with 3years job. But as we speak, that peace deal was supposed to have been submitted to the President, the National Assembly, the judiciary, and other institutions of government, including the bilateral and multilateral institutions, for us to pave an other way. We said we are going to, we proposed to 3years job now in that conference at Sheraton Hotel for us to drop our program, such as the protest, come together as Gambians under one civil society organization, drop our names and come and see what, because if their only concern is to hold the leaders accountable, let's devise a means and ways of making sure that happens.
So we stop this.
All the protests.
Can I ask a supplementary question?
Let me just complete. They said no. It was even difficult. It took the conference more than 25 minutes. I think some of your guys were there for them to sign that peace deal. They said no, they are going ahead. Marisok was the one who negotiated for them to meet the ministers, the very ministers that they met, the interior, the defense and the like. At that meeting, they declined. They said they are not in that meeting for negotiation. They are there to negotiate their permit. They said we were supposed to be there together. But they said no, that they were not going to allow us in that meeting. And they are abandoning the peace deal as we speak. So the president has opened that door. You cannot say no, because they did not come, they condemned that.
Can I ask a supplementary question? Because I've seen, there is 3 years, right? And there was 3 years before you people come, right?
6 months or 7 months.
Yeah, 6 months before you people come. Now, if you are going to be an arbiter, so to speak, if you are going to be the one that's going to be the voice of reasoning, as you portrayed the 5 years, why do you take an opposite direction? Say, let's go for 5 years, which is an opposing view of 3 years, instead of, which is adding to the conflict, instead of, say, let's channel our dialogue and push all the coalition partners into a dialogue.
Actually, we did not. It depends on how you see it. If the perspective, the perspective that you are putting forward does not commensurate with our ideology. Okay. We have looked at, we have studied the opposing sides. We have seen the level at which the president and his allies have gone to, including 3years job now. So for us, reference has ever been the Constitution. We felt that the constitutional term, the 5-year constitutionally sanction term, which is an entering clause, is the only solution. Because the president would not back down. Listen, because if you are going to negotiate, you will have to have an agreement from both sides. There's no way you can force the president to abrogate his desire to go for 5 years.
But how do you know the president will not back down?
He will not.
How?
We had him say it, and we, from all sides.
But do you abandon?
No, it is never.
You're saying that because that's what you want.
No, it is never. We cannot force the president to step down, in as much as he has the legal mandate.
That's not my question. My question is.
So how are we?
That's actually not my question.
We will not be able to go for 3 years.
No, that's not my question.
Going to say. No, the constitution is binding on all Gambians, including.
That's not my question. My question is.
You cannot have a country. That
my question is. You want peace.
Sure.
You have two worrying sides. It was Mr. Barrow who went to the people and said, "I will step down after 3 years."
Undoubtedly.
And if he violates it, if we are not going to be too civilized, you would say he lied to the voters. That's to be honest. Now, on the other side, and you have people who are saying, Barrow, keep your words. And on the other side of the divide, you have 5 years. Yeah. Okay? Now, all of you are within your right to advocate for 5 years. Fine. You're within your right as a Gambian voter. Fine. But what I am saying is, when you have come and you have already two sides, already you are Barrow's side, there was a 5 years. You were not the first 5 years. Barrow was the first 5 years. There is 3 years. You want to solve that problem. You went and joined Barrow's 5 years.
That's what happened.
That's what you did.
That is not.
There was
a 5 years.
That is your opinion.
You only did that when you didn't find any.
No, there was no solution. What is the solution? Because what you are saying, if 3 years is saying, 3 years John is saying yes, he has to go by the agreement. Of course, Barrow is saying no. And what do?
You violated the significance of the coalition talks.
I am on my feet.
Yeah, you said
you violated.
Interesting.
Who violated? The president violated the agreement, including the coalition.
Okay.
Fine. Now that you have 3 years, John, active, very active, and with the agenda of making sure that the president steps down with conditions. The petition, we know what they are up to by the 1920th of January. So for us, what we said, because this is the constitution is the last reference for us. Let's go for the constitution. And let me also make this very clear here. It's not only about Barrow. Let's make some reference to the other political parties. Sometime in 2016, how many political parties contested the presidential election? You have the coalition and the GDC and the APRC. The majority of the Gambian people that voted, I'm not talking about the eligibly registered voter, but the Gambian people that voted for 5 years. More than 53%.
How do you know?
No, more the results. If you add, listen. I am talking, madam. Please let me land.
Yes.
I am talking. I am saying put the total votes cast for the GDC and the total votes cast.
It's more than the coalition.
For the APRC put together, it accounts for over 53%.
It's more than
the coalition. The coalition registered about 47-48%. So you cannot come and say the Gambian people say, and you jeopardize the peace of the Gambian people from the 20th until such time.
Okay, no, Cham, I want to. No, this is a supplementary. This is a supplementary question.
You are going to infringe on the rights of over 53% of Gambians who voted for 5 years.
This is a supplementary question. I know. This one is a supplementary question.
53% did not even vote for
57%.
Who? I am talking about the two parties put together.
They didn't even vote for Barrow, even for a day.
No. I am not talking about that. You are getting it wrong. I am saying the other party.
Can I clarify? No, you know what he's saying.
53% more than voted for GDC and the APRC.
Let me see.
You cannot dispute that, madam. Who are saying Barrow? Are we for Barrow? We are the Gambian people, madam. We are taking into account that we are representing the Gambian people inclusively.
Come down. Now, what I'm trying to Mr. Bar.
The Gambian people inclusively.
If I understand you.
So you cannot.
You are saying that, in fact, had it not been forced past the post, Mr. Barrow wouldn't have been elected because he didn't receive the most votes.
Because you have a simple majority.
No, it's only individual votes that he beat them. All right? Combined, the opposition to him, opposition to the coalition combined was more than the coalition. But because we had a system of forced past the post.
At the time.
Now at the time, you are now trying to say that the people who Mr. Barrow told, even though he told them, I'm going to step at 3 years, did not listen to him. They just voted for Barrow, for Jammeh or Mama Kande because that one said 5 years.
I'm saying
that's right.
Fine. Yeah, taking into account that they are Gambian people.
So you cannot say, you cannot, those votes were not, he's trying to, those votes are in the first place, not Barrow's vote.
I am not saying, I've never referred those votes to
No, you said.
I am saying the Gambian people.
You said when they were voting, they voted for 5 years.
Of course, because we are voting, the agenda that was
that's what I'm
for
saying.
5 years.
Exactly.
The APRC and the GDC campaigned for 5 years.
That's what I'm saying.
We did not hear them talk about anything other than 5 years.
That's what I'm saying. He's trying to tell you that. When have they now become in agreement with Barrow?
No, we are not talking about
that. No, that's what we are saying.
I am talking about their right to peaceful coexistence.
Cham, I think we're delivering. My supplementary question was going to be.
Let's go to the Barrow, because that's why he's here, for the Gambia 5 years.
Exactly, specifically.
We wanted to know, what people wanted to know was, when is it going to happen? You said you don't have.
It's subject to confirmation.
Confirmation from who?
From
your members.
Stakeholders that are coming together to ensure that, to make sure that this happens.
Well, we saw a permit, application for a permit, which stated 21st December. Has that been postponed?
Posted by me.
That was postponed.
But there was another another post that brought in that posted for the 4th, and also that is also, I'm saying, is also subject to.
That's another subject. So you have cancelled 2 permits now.
Yes, of course, because we have a problem. We have a problem of our crowding. We have a problem of that high demand. Like I told you, I gave you a figure that is a target figure. That we have to look at the logistics and the mobilization. We have people traveling from Europe, from America to come and partake in this. You have over 300,000. As we speak, the people of URR are meeting. They are demanding for over 100 vehicles. You know, we want to bring. So that means we need time. So that is responsible for the uncertainty. What our plans are afoot as to how we are.
You still disagree that this is not members of President Barrow's would-be party who's mobilizing people?
No, certainly not.
Are you sure?
Certainly not.
Okay.
My supplementary question was actually going to be connected to what they are doing. That was actually going to be because the rationale for 5 years, 3 years. Of course, never mind that both of you have your right to think whatever, to go 5 years if you like, say whatever. That's your constitutional right. But my question is relating to the rationale. Like you said, because you suggested that because there is a 3 years and the constitution says 5 years, and there is a conflict, and the reasonable position to hold is the other side of the conflict, which is in fact the other side of the conflict.
Nothing to do with that side. It's the constitution per se.
Now,
it's a coincidence that it is that.
Okay, now, so the problem, when coalition stakeholders, the 6 of the 7 coalitions, you know, there were 6 coalitions and 3 independents.
Right.
Now, when the 5 of the 3, because GMC actually was not also part of the discussion, even though they agree with 5 years. The discussion at Cairo. The initial, but they were not part of. That's what I'm saying. Now, that's what I am saying. Now, since when that happened,
let's move on.
As that conversation ended on that day when Barrow's term was going to be extended, Barrow went to open his fans club movement. He was not also in the spirit of the coalition.
Now, let's move on.
It doesn't have to answer that question. It doesn't know.
No, but he is Gambians. He is the voice of reasoning.
I'm not answering that question. But that is up to Barrow. But do you know whom they met?
But you are the voice of reasoning.
Was Barrow not represented? The president does not have to be physically present in such meeting for his opinion to be part of that. He could have been represented.
Listen, we have exhausted. Let's move on. Dampa.
Yes.
This you are now listen. You have had the rationale that Mr. Ba is coming. No, Mr. Ba is coming for the formation of the Gambia for 5 years, and he's claimed they are independent. Yet twice they had to cancel their permits from the police. He said because there are logistics. He denied, of course, there are no bigger forces who are telling them what to do. As he claimed, as people said, 3 years, we have been pushed by the UDP. He claimed that nobody is going to go there. They are only going to go there, not on political platform, but their own conscience. That it makes sense that we stay here for 5 years. But that actually coincides with the wish and aspirations of President Barrow and his supporters. So they are one and the same. Disagree?
I am 100% agree. You know what happened? I will always go otherwise if the wishes and the likes of President contravene the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia. Then I'm going to align myself with whatever movement it is, which is constitutional, which is defending the Constitution of this country. But the wishes of the President, the likes of the President, commensurate with the dictate of the Constitution. Really, I will never hesitate a second to align myself to that.
And enter close for that.
I will never. And I concord with them this delaying of the, announcing the date due to the certain logistics. Yes, because people are agitating. Hey, I even want them to join me in that, but they refuse. Maybe after this, I will beg him. I'll beg him to, because I am very good in organizing. So I want them to join me so that I can also give them some support. But he said no. What is important? There's many pressure. I know there's many pressure because there's many people calling me. Even yesterday, somebody called me outside. He said, I want to mobilize this. I would say, no, I'm not responsible.
So you are one and the
I
same.
say, I'm not responsible.
We need a criteria in place.
I'm not responsible. Maybe they have a pressure. Like when they think that they are having 1,000 people coming, You send in 2, 3, 4, 5 people, and now you see the number is keep on increasing. Now you have to at least back down and
this plan demonstration can be conveniently called a peaceful demonstration. When before the
and solidarity.
No, and solidarity.
And
let me come. Now this can be conveniently called a peaceful solidarity, man. When the 3 years journey were painted to be people brewing trouble, that was a trouble rally.
Even the trouble is coming on 20 years. The trouble is coming on 20 years. That is not ruled out.
I do not agree with people. I came here, I just labeled them as faceless people.
Right. Yes.
But I never said they are troublemakers.
Well,
I always said
that's what we got.
I always said in our platform.
People
where I am.
The agenda is trouble.
People were scared.
No, it depends on. Sorry.
It is the
Sorry.
agenda.
It depends on. You know, when we like here, we say 5 years. If as me myself align myself with the 5 years people, I think they were thinking that me I'm part of the executive.
Yes.
I go and make my audio. I'm saying this and this and this. So, or I write on the platform, social media or any other platform, or I go to the media, or print papers. So I just said something down there that is scaring people. People may put, okay, these 3 years people are this. Much more, they are not aware of it. I'm just speaking as a concerned citizen.
All right, let's wrap
so
up.
people portray them, or people perceive to become as a violence or
Before we
troublemakers.
wrap up, I have one final. I just have a few comments and then a final question.
Yeah, I know.
Hope it's not to me.
No, we are going to Isa. We're going to conclude with Isa.
Exactly. So, Mr. Sir, I see that you
We are
become very passionate.
it's already
and
2
I
o'clock
like that
now.
so much. I just want to make a disclaimer to say that the reason why we are both passionate is because you are pro 5 years. I am pro democracy. And if you're going to have this discussion, it's a matter of us listening to each other to see our different points so that we can come to a common ground. And it's very important for me for us to bring out the facts. And that's what we're trying to do here. Right? So another thing I have a contention with is, as a pro-democracy advocate, I don't have an issue with any group 5 years, 3 years coming out to protest to make their views known. I think that's a healthy part of democracy. And I think that's why it's also important that even if you're going to go out with an opposing view, we should not do it in such a way that we're going to illegitimize the other people's right to exercise 3 years judgment's right in this context, to exercise their constitutional right. And there is also another reason why we have a the Supreme Court is because only they can interpret the Constitution. It's not for you and me to interpret the Constitution. The same Constitution that gives right to 3 years judgment to protest, that same Constitution have given a term limit, right? When you sit here or I sit here and say, my protest is legitimate, their protest is illegitimate, on what basis? Because we are all speaking about the same Constitution. If you remember during the impasse, when President Jammeh lost, and he came back to say, I nullified the election. His argument was that the Constitution had given him a right to make a petition to the Supreme Court. Okay. It was the Supreme Court that says, no, this is unconstitutional. It was
give me a question.
I want to respond to that. I want to respond.
The question I have,
yes,
the question though I have is that I have seen in one of your publications that you're going to solicit support from internal and external stakeholders.
Sure.
And as a Gambian, and considering that this is about our democracy, I am concerned about bringing people who are non-Gambians to come and partake in these protests, to give an impression that they are taking part in our democracy to influence decisions that matter to the Gambians.
Did you say
so? What does that mean?
International sponsor or Gambian
abroad? It says internal and international stakeholders.
Yes, stakeholders here. We have Gambians in the diaspora. They are international.
That's what the ones you meant.
We have Gambians in the diaspora. Okay.
So it's clear.
That I am the author of that post.
It's not foreigners.
No, you cannot bring foreigners to this program. Those that are coming are going to be purely Gambians.
Yeah. So this
we are mobilizing through the grassroots.
This international
through the Gambian established social structures that are on the ground.
So this international means Gambians.
Gambians in the diaspora.
Okay, fine.
But we have stakeholders that we have the international community also. They should come and serve as advisors, observers. They are coming as observers. That we are soliciting the diaspora, but they should come. They were here when 3 years just now was here.
Yes, of course.
They were here and they made their impact, they made their voices made. So we are talking about the same thing. I am also, and finally before you go, madam, it is never, there is no way you can justify. We are not illegitimizing the 3 years journal. What we are saying is the agenda, is their cause. in attempting on the 20th to stay in the streets, occupy the streets until such time that the president steps down. When the president made it crystal clear that he is not stepping down, that is not constitutional.
Okay, with that point clear.
The judiciary or any arm of the judiciary will never.
Okay, that's clear.
Justify that.
That's clear.
I don't know.
Esa, let's conclude with Esa. Esa, this is the other topic, of course. You just concluded a tour with the presidents, and well, it's supposed to be meet the people's tour, but it turned out that a political party has been formed or has been in the offing from the tour. There were also contentious issues. That's a good news. Congratulations. But there are contentious issues, such as we heard from the UDP leader that President Barrow actually condoned people insulting him on the political platform. What's your comment on that? And generally, how was the tour? I mean, what do you make of critics who said the tour was purely a political activity for President Barrow to consolidate his power at the expense of the taxpayer? Some $13 million Mustafa followed budget has been spent on it, and you kept talking to people about President Barrow next year, President Barrow 5 years, President Barrow. Very little had been heard about the farmers' plight, according to the critics.
Thank you very much, Mr.
What do you make of it?
Really, that's a very interesting and very useful questions here, and I'm very happy to answer it. First and foremost, I wanted to thank the President for adhering to the dictate of the Constitution. You know, this is a mandate, section 222 of the subsection 15, that at least 1 or 2 times in a year, he should go and just meet the people.
Especially if it suits him.
To see for himself.
Especially very convenient for him.
And it was, like we're running out of time, I just want to briefly, you know, it depends on, you know, we want to assure the general public, the Gambian public, they are very free to exercise their thoughts and thinking, and whatever, it's only will even in a violent form. But if it is like a peaceful way, you can just express it anyhow you want it.
Exactly.
You can say Dampa is even sitting there, he never go to Kerfado, he's being attacked. No, just so thinking. You know, more or less that I'm here. President Adam Barrow was supposed to meet people. People were supposed to talk to him and explain to him their desires, their problems, and to assess generally the policies that he implemented the last year, how it impacted the layman's living in the country.
He did that.
He did that one.
And he talked
and
about
there's a lot of things. People complain, and he answered.
He answered all that.
And sometimes his ministers answered.
But
he would come there and reiterated the minister's position.
But there was no point.
And now there was a question. There's a lot of things. You know that, namely, I can say the health sector. People complain about health sector. A lot of people complain about it.
He promised
and now
there will be no
the minister
buying,
categorically made it clear that they imported 7 containers of drugs. It will be onward distributed to the
and there will be no credit buying farmers.
No credit buying. Yes. He promised them. He said, okay, in 2 weeks' time, I'm going to announce the buying price of the groundnut, and also to add more weight to it. There will be no credit buying this year. And he is planning to dispatch a monitoring team to go and monitor the sector. You know, last time it happened last year. There's a cooperative union that used to take money from the state and go and play games.
I know.
So every day, all the blames come back to the government.
Yes, that's right.
So he's trying to set up a monitoring team who will be monitoring to know exactly what are they doing with the money. Are they paying the farmers cash or not? And in agriculture also, there's a lot
actually happened.
People say the fertilizer issue. Fertilizer was very, it was affordable because 1,700, the government waived all 1,000 now, so farmers are buying at 700. So now, but they say accessibility is their problem now. You don't want to come and dump the fertilizer at Bara or SEO, somebody coming from Lamen, Yomi Lamen, or far away, you know, it takes you a long time to access the fertilizer. So he's trying to revert these farming centers where these cooperative unions, SECOs and stuff like that, they have their own
they'll be distributed.
Like distribution centers, you know, the stores, like you know, cooperative stores, how it used to be before. And also people ask him to register his own political party.
Okay, that's right.
That's the contentious issue here. I think regarding the question. Now, he never answered that. He said, I'm going to reserve that question
until the last
day. Okay. So the last day, when Banjulians asked him the same question, he said, okay, I agree. Now I'm going to adhere to your request. I'm going to register my party.
He said.
So it's also part of adhering to the people.
Now, it used to happen under President Jawara. It used to happen under Jammeh. when the taxpayers give the president money to go and meet the people and discuss issues such as you have highlighted, they always sneak in politics. We said it was bad on the Jawara, it was worse on the Jammeh, and Barrow is doing the same thing. So, are we not right to say that the president, whom we thought would have brought out all the changes, is himself now doing the same things?
You know, people, you cannot control their actions. You cannot say, don't say this. It's going to be dictatorial action. But Barrow himself, he always made all his points clear that this talk is not a political talk. I'm here for this and this and this and this and this. He always made points clear.
But
what Lamuncha will say, what Ezadaba will say there,
but members of his delegation, such as
yes, that's what I'm saying. They are free. They also have enjoyed the freedom of expression.
Such as tourism minister said that this is political. We even want ministers who can do politics.
He said, I was there. He said, yes, President, you are saying it's not political. But me, as I stand here,
it's a political.
He's a political appointee.
And he has taxpayers' money. No, but he has taxpayers' money who said he should talk about tourism.
But also be accountable for that money. Not Ahmed Bar.
No, Ahmed is part of the government. Barrow is part of the government.
Whatever happens in this studio here, in this here. All right. Father should be accountable for it, not you.
No.
Father should be telling Mustafa, don't say he's don't do this. But whatever happens here, Father should be answerable.
So Barrow should pay for the money.
Should pay for the money. Should be accountable.
All right, let's come to
Not Ahmed Bar.
He ended up saying he's announcing his political party.
Yes.
At a platform where we paid him to talk about the plight of our people. Was that correct?
It's very correct. You know, you cannot ignore people's demand. People are the one who elected him first place. If they demanded you answer all their questions, why depending on you not answer? So you should have answered everything.
So he said he's going to...
A lecturer gives you a question, you answer everything. You
were co-chair. You were co-chair.
Yes,
you were co-chair of all the meetings. You were co-chair of all the meetings.
Yes.
You definitely agree that there were political messages in the that's
very
no doubt about.
Very well.
What do you make of claims by lawyer Usenu Daw of the UDP that the president condoned people insulting him? I mean, he said there was a time even on the APRC, which we all painted to be, the worst.
I understand.
President Jammeh had to intervene to stop one of his entourage members from insulting him. And he's disappointed that President Barrow was sitting there. He was being insulted. He blamed him for that. What do you make of that?
My point
is
there
right?
Is really, I don't.
You were chairman.
I was chairman.
You couldn't have stopped the lady or whoever.
No. What happens? What happens? I have a follow-up questions here.
Okay.
What was the insult?
Well,
and who he or she insulted? Who?
Okay. So you are saying
that's a question.
You are saying that.
Well, I don't. I was very busy setting up the cultural groups when she was talking, because he was supposed to be the last person who's supposed to be talking on the side of the community. Yeah. You know, it's in two for community and the state. So I was busy on that. Now, who she was insulted? If she is
Mr. Dabo said it was him.
Who is the man?
Mr. Dabo said it was him.
What was the word that he insulted?
Well, we are not supposed to repeat those.
That's it. So I have a problem. But what I'm saying, I'm going to apologize.
He said some things.
As a person.
Okay, as a person.
I'm going to apologize to the whole Gambia, to everyone listening or hear that word. It did not go down well with you or to you. Then I apologize on my personal capacity.
As chairman of the meeting.
I'm not that capacity. As a concerned citizen, a private citizen for that matter. But nobody can associate that word to you. Because when I heard the audio, a drunkard, who is a drunkard? Who is the drunkard?
So,
you can never see anybody with a bottle of alcohol. But it's not good. It's not encouraged. You cannot encourage a hate speech. We can never encourage a hate speech in our society.
You condemn that?
I condemn that one.
That had happened.
You cannot say
that had happened.
That had happened.
Okay.
I condemn that as my capacity.
But according to you, nobody has been specifically named to be the target for that.
Target, no.
So Fatma Jawara was not referring to a lawyer.
I cannot ascertain, because I never heard saying, Usainu Daw, you are the drunkard.
But he said
I never heard that.
He said the
if I heard that saying that Usainu, I will not directly. He's attacking the man and vividly cleared his name. So, but that never happened.
So it
depends on people how they, when there's a statement, it depends how you perceive it. People diagnose things.
But there are insinuations. I can insult
you. You can take it like this way, I can take it this way.
I can say the panelist who was on my right just a while ago.
I'm on the right and this one on the right. Because the far right or far left.
Okay.
So is that me? But
you think, but individually you think that there was no cause for that.
I don't concord with any hate speech in our political landscape here in the Gambia. Exactly. We have to be very much careful how we, not only family. There's a lot of insult group here. Yeah. We had forums insulting people's mother. Yes. In all the platforms, even attacking journalists, attacking you people, because you think that you shouldn't pressurize ESA in that way. You might have an ulterior motive. It's not that. ESA should be ready enough to come here and face a missiles. That's why I always like to say a platform with Nima, because.
But it was not a hate speech. Did you in any way? You have given an individual opinion that it was really uncalled for. You didn't like it.
For my own perspective.
Would you, in future, use your influence or advise the president and those who organize the rallies to intervene when such things are happening?
Believe you me, if I tell you before the talk, me specifically, when I will be part of those who will be carrying the meeting, we'll send this message across to all these governors, regional governors, who will be selecting their people's chiefs to make sure. To talk to their people. When they are talking, let them stick to the guidelines.
Okay.
The guideline is development. What do you need? What is your pending issue? What do your display? What this and this? Talk about that. But we don't want to name any political opponents in our platforms. Because we are here strictly to fulfill our constitutional
mandate. But apparently they didn't.
But they didn't. And we cannot jail them, we cannot slap them, we cannot intimidate them by saying so.
But if happening,
they also have right.
But if happening in Japan, I can stop it happening from Kayaf.
And normally you can see all our time we realize this kind of speech in combos here. But when we started things like
it was normal.
It was not that much. I can see people coming, except those national assemblymen who they were sacked from a particular party.
Yes.
They wanted to express why they were sacked, why this. They want to make clear. They want to use that platform to make people clear. To know that why they were sacked.
Fatma went too far.
I cannot say she went too far. It depends on her. Me, I cannot dictate people's opinion.
Mr. Ba, this is not Gambia for 5. Okay, Gambia 5 years matters. Yes.
No, please, this is political.
You don't want to talk about it. You are not a politician.
No.
Okay, there you go. All right.
Not my jurisdiction.
Finally, Kamara, Nima and Dabo. What do you make of that? As I said, that it was nobody's fault that such a thing happened, and it was not direct to anybody. Why is lawyer Dabo making fuss?
I think SI is just being political here. I think insult is recognizable anywhere, and we are not going to blame this on you, but we expect that if you have a president in a platform where somebody used a platform to send a message of ill will to anybody, whether it's lawyer or Halifa or anyone for that matter, you expect the president to be the unifier, to be the one to condemn such things. And if he doesn't do that, then that's problematic.
Well, yeah.
And this is not just a problem with on that platform. This is what happens on political platforms in this country. It's sad. But every party that holds all that they do is talk about X, Y, and Z. X, Y, and Z. It's all attack on individuals. It's even at that meeting alone. Almost every other, even Dembo Bojang was talking about individuals and parties. No one talks to you in the Gambia about, Nawek is having this problem. This is how we're going to solve it. This is how no one does that in the Gambia. Sad, yeah. And it's not just them. It's everybody who goes to a political platform in this country.
So
this
even UDP, except
except with the exception of the rest, I'm not saying
that's why
there was a doing, but he is no longer doing.
About anybody
you left doing principles. So the point is,
I'm still adhering to
if they,
you know, still doing.
If they wanted to change,
are you still doing?
If they wanted,
I still have the ideology. Now I have a political right to shift to Baro.
Because the point,
then you are on doing. Those people don't do that.
The point at that rally. Not only did Fatimata say that, Fatimata didn't just say that. Remember, Fatimata said that and she was applauded. And she was praised for it by leading members of their group. So it's not Fatimata said that with an endorsement of the leadership of their group.
If somebody use a UDP platform to insult Barrow, you will check.
But of course, yes, that's what I'm saying. It's the same thing.
Gunju. And a UDP platform.
Platform, yes.
This is what.
This is what.
That's why we have to condemn
members of UDP insult. right? They do all the
On
time.
platforms,
See,
so that
on
on social media, but not when Dabo is addressing meetings.
Even when I don't know.
Well, except Fatoumata is not just any member. Fatoumata is a National Assembly member.
But it's different from a president. Who is the president of the entire country? Using a platform that is sponsored by
taxpayers.
The president has a bigger body in this.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. That's why me, if you get me right, my person,
Yeah,
I
you
cannot
said
dictate
individually.
I cannot dictate anybody else.
Yeah. Yes,
but
Mr.
I have to call it as my own
I
person.
just want to add. I just want to observe.
Yes,
that
observe.
For the sake of peace. For Gambia for 5 years in peace building, that is why we prevailed on the Minister of Interior.
Okay.
Likewise, the President.
Yeah.
For them to be mindful of hate speech. The President and the Executive and all other political parties have a responsibility of making sure that they comport themselves in such a manner that is going to promote peace building in this country. Exactly. This country is going through one of its worst times. You have what I call looming crisis.
Division.
The country is divided. Politically, it's completely polarized. So I have a message for Damfa, for him to prevail on his people. Peace. We are peace builders in this country. We are worried about the amount of hate speech from all sides, from all political parties. It could be detrimental to the peace of this country. We have 3 years Jotna coming, we are coming out. January is going to be very, very, very tough. It's going to be very challenging. If you look at the economic impact, it's severe. If you look at the tourism sector,
all the more important for
the Gambia is going through its worst time.
All the more important for dialogue now.
Dialogue, yes. It depends. We are going to do our best. We are going to do our best to make sure that here against the 1928 we will call. In fact, we are going to call a press conference and we will make that pronouncement.
Why don't we?
We are going to write to the president. We are going to write to all the political parties.
Why don't we cancel?
Let 3 years not cancel there.
No, why don't we cancel the Gambia for first?
No, they came out. We will come out. If they don't want us to come out, they will also cancel. They are 29. Then we will not. Or otherwise, if they come out, we will make sure that we will not come out the same day to counter them, but we will come out on another day to make sure that we show solidarity with the Gambian constitution. And in addition, also, let me make this point clear. The Gambian National Assembly has a responsibility.
Okay. Yeah.
Because we saw National Assembly members coming out openly and supporting the 3 years journal, asking the president to resign by December. The Serikunda is it West.
Which is also their right.
Fine, call it right.
So what do you want to tell them?
Right. What I'm saying is it should be but the speech in which it was made. That you can say you can kill a cat without actually twisting the neck. For the benefit of peace, the National Assembly members are very, very how do you call it? They are responsible people. They represent the people. By virtue of their profile.
So they shouldn't be a
they should not promote that because they can influence their districts, they can influence their followers to engage in hate speech or otherwise. And also, let me also announce this here, that the members of 3 years Jotna it's still subject to investigation, have been targeting members of Gambia for 5 years. By calling us by private numbers.
Wow.
With threats. I have more than 16
members of 3 years Jotna executive or
I do not know
because
the language they have been using. I made it clear yesterday. I have been having, in fact, from here I'm going to another program.
Oh, fantastic.
This is very, very, very worrying.
Okay.
For Gambia for 5 years, most of our executives are female. In fact, as we speak, some of them are threatened. They call them around 2 o'clock at night. Nalma albemento nal funtita mbek mbala ko dal janila mbal fala. We do this and do that.
We had that.
And that is, we have not been engaging in that. We are peace builders. We know them. We have some of their numbers. We have never called any of them.
Okay.
Let us go. We have a right to come out.
Okay, exactly.
We have a right to pursue our agenda.
Fine.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Ibrahim Soriba of the Gambia for 5 years. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us. As a Damfa, of course, I don't know whether now I should promote you from West Coast Spokesman Coalition to Chairman of Presidents or the coming party or whatever I will call you. But there you are. Thank you very, very much for coming. Nima and Mustafa, thank you very much for your thoughts. And If you're watching us, wherever you're watching us from, thank you very much for now. Until we come back next week, goodbye.
ñëw ak yéen rek skincare plus nara jàkkaarloo ak yéen waxtaan ak yéen tuuti rek si suñu tube suñu baax emuñ rek ci ay diw waaye comme ni ngeen ko xamee rek dañoo yëngu ci ay tube te yënguwuñ nag si just any tube suñ tube bu nekk 5-star jesna la 5-star jesna mooy jesna bi gën a pire moom la ñoo tube palmaan bi gën a fort moom la ñoo liggéeyee ñun rek si tube dara du doy day des not only dañoo tube but bu la neexee ñu tuubal la ba pare nag ñawal la. We're not all about skin. We are skin, care, and the plus does come in so many different ways.
No, ini bara. Alright, okay. Welcome. Basically, lot of me along is cool, man. That I can really relax. What the madam? Yeah, that's what the madam? Yeah, let them do somebody. That's right. Grand Villa. Grand Villa. That's fine. Slowly. Yes. No. Yeah, actually, a lot of people are basically me alone because they relax. So the two things that I can use very relaxed. Nothing needs one. Nidia, Nena Grand Villa is the best guest house in the Gambia.
Beji and the Grand Villa Guest House. Na labungul bebe senyarin adum na bungul bebe nyarandirin coming ibela fila ila suwe taranyame until Grand Villa na kiliano la lafino wala mukawatin telkam na ye sabati Grand Villa yela kodo na fa kalamuta
Oh man, this is like a paradise. I know. I so much love this place. Yeah, thank you. Trust me, I love this place.
You can move someone and you're watching what?
Yeah.
I know what Gambia Grand Villa.
I tell you. I love this place. Okay. I love this place, man. Oh yeah.
Ni leftan na kuo keso sotola. Futama Oljuntum Paradise Estate. Mbaya Commandiroke 7527218. Wale futan na website auto www.grandvillaguesthouse.com. Grand Villa Guest House.
Dreaming of owning a property in a prime location with great proximity and fantastic neighborhood? EJ Investments Sanyang Seaview Estate is the best choice you have been waiting for. Our Sanyang Seaview Estate is approximately 15 minutes drive away from the busy hub of Busubi roundabout and into the heart of nature, where you can have a peaceful and relaxed lifestyle with your family. You can buy a finished 4-bedroom story with 5-year flexible payment plan or a service plot with 2-year payment plan option. With over 300 homes, you will enjoy big tar roads with covered drainage, modern electrification with solar street lights, gated entrance with security post, and a breath-catching experience of our beautiful sea view and lake view. You can own a home today at our Sanyang Seaview Estate. Call us today on 446-4838 or 325-9220. Visit our website on ejinvestments.net. EJ Investments, first in property.
domoro kadiyata
boy janno 5years restaurant
e sai nakko be ninna dimbal nimba domoro kala janno
domoro seneyata adiyata topotoro fanan kendema bije luntan during tamala abeka domoro ki janni adi manda wala de te ka we bijele anim fanan ka fadi jang ikono e fa e ka fa minne ko pastry anim bakery iko fanan be kalele badde lomba conference lomba workshop lomba ye fo fendin lo dunia kono domoro betama nyillom international otoda number 1
amanke ba domoro jandama
e sa domo jang is atariya
wo mu kubandi
sa nakko sa futandin
e oto sa nakko be mu 5years restaurant
ndafa na janna mu yat ni manje dorom bijam
aban
5years Restaurant, known for best quality food and customer satisfaction.
na broda min ba Europe Mr. Conte nka bolo kol kan sai na so ko na mano banta jabo banta tulo ban sai ka bolo kol kan anda ka ba office ko na badama bulo mutarin baka ta sintila no ko batu ngane ta ya kuriyan ma ko dubanti na ta mano sani tulo ni jaw
munda beten la broda man balwo service kalam
mun service
balwo service
ni da foronte mo kalam
munda afela broda ko abitala internet ol aya ba site la woldo balwo.com na wo sajje a apu nga ba download la telephone ol na be sandiro to ni wal na be sidin ala office ko ndama manjar pour ay ta bank ko kodoki abe sidin office ko na daminto ito message so yo telephone ko no e bitiko be Gambia dawda bitiko ba bele ko ta tano dawda yeta sempo tawo wodama yala bari wa service na ta molda han mata nyo le kan fi janna bro dan ka ko mata nyo ko ayo ko ti ta
balwo service dinkirala jampo o manken na kola ko balwo service al demano kaje ko ale do mor feŋol sang alla dimbaya molu ana lakkanun tewul wato bela ani wat sudum fanan kono balwo service la dinkiralu ani la do kunyolu ibe banko karo beto kabirin katon fo koyna nalla fa ko koton soro balwo service la kolto ali commandi telephone line la milbuko 9400213 7694319 wala 3192870 wala hankabi alta internet oto alila kolu jibe www.baluwo.com.
Do you live abroad and want to build your dream home in the Gambia without risking your funds and family ties? Do you want a household name that is trustworthy and efficient? A name that will continue to give you updates on the project from the beginning to the very end with videos and pictures? If your answer is yes, then worry no more. Boss Construction and Asset Management is here for you. If you live outside the Gambia and want to build your dream home, then this is ideal for you. Just reach out to Boss Construction and let's start building the dream home into a reality. With Boss Construction, the difference is clear. We give you value for money. Some of our services includes the following: construction management, building equipment rentals, rent management, purchase and leasing, asset management, and many more. For more information, please contact 282-4945. Better still, send us an email, bossgambia@gmail.com, or you can also visit our website on www.bossgambia.com. Boss Construction, a name you can trust. Boss Construction and Asset Management, keeping families together.
Réewi Gambie dama ne kii December nar naa neexati ndaxte ket waa Diaspora Club ñoo leen di indil ñaari superstars muy Viviane Chidid ak Jelimadi Kanouté jóg leen waajal ndaxte ket waa Diaspora Club ñoo oote te saa yu ñu ootee mu neex saf sàpp gaañi ñetti fukki fan ak benn ci weeru December ñaari ndaanaan ñoo fas yéene ñëw ci guddi gi dégg ngeen leen muy Viviane Chidid la classe mën na woy neex baat Jelimadi Kanouté nga xam ne buy woy sa xol day feex ticket si nag yomb lool $2,500 lañ leen laaj par kenn Diamond $40,000 Gold $30,000 lépp di xàpp ne live and direct ca pinc mi xool ñetti fukki fan ak benn ci weeru December lépp lu ñu jëlee ci Soka Family Fun Day bi ak lu ñu jëlee ca gala bi nga xamante ne mooy ñetti fukki fan ak benn lépp lu ñu jël dugalaat ko ci réew mi rawatina ci health sector bi ca lopitaani Banjul ba nga xam ne dañ fa tuddee sax Diaspora Club bi benn woot boo xamante ne pour ñoom la dooli leen ko jàppale leen ci seen wér gu yaram waa Diaspora Club gàcce ngaalaama defate ngeen ko gala dina bi nag ñi ko dépense dindaanaa ni dama ne ñu ñuy waa Global Properties gàcce ngaalaama yéen